Hello everyone. So today I'm going to teach you about acids and bases. Okay. So in this chapter or in this topic you can say I'm going to teach you about what is called acid, what are bases, what are indicators and different kinds of equations and mechanisms also, and including types of reactions, and at the end I will be concluding the chapter with the pH scale. Okay. So, I have put here a definition of acids and bases first. So, let me read it aloud and then I will explain it to you step by step. See, substances that are swore in test and turn blue litmus paper into red. It is also liberate hydrogen ion in a solution. Means, these are the certain characteristics to be a compound showing that it is acidic. So, substance that are stored in test and that turns blue litmus paper into red. This is the most important point to be noted, that the substance that are turning blue litmus paper into red are classified to be in a group of acids. And nextly, you can see it also liberate hydrogen ion in a solution. Now, what is hydrogen ion? Obviously, that is this hydrogen ion. So, in a solution, whenever a compound liberates hydrogen ion, then that compound is classified as acids. Okay? Now, see bases. Substance that are bitter in taste and turns red litmus paper into blue. Means, in case of base, the substance that are bitter in taste means and turns red litmus paper into blue. The base property is that it turns the red litmus paper into blue color. And nextly, the second property is that it also liberates hydroxide ion, means OH ion in a solution. The substance that are liberating OH minus ion in a solution are classified to be a base. So, our next topic is indicators. So, see, substance that indicates the presence or concentration of a certain constituents. That means, if you are given a bottle of acids or base or neutral substance, then how you gonna identify it? Whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. So, a substance is used in order to identify those substances. So, that substance is named as indicator, which tells whether a substance is either acidic, basic or neutral. Okay. Now see, for example, litmus and turmeric. These are the natural indicators, and this tells whether the substance that you are given either acidic in nature or basic in nature. Now see, coming to the next point, I am going to teach you about the different mechanisms of reactions. But before that, we need to learn about the two things. That one is exothermic and endothermic. Now see, what are these two terms and what are these two reactions? So basically what happens that in order to make a particle react, we need to either give heat to them or either heat is released by them. So, this is either heat released or gained is given a mechanical term as known as exothermic or endothermic. So, these are basically the two mechanical terms given to either heat released by a reaction or heat gained by a reaction. Now, see, what is exothermic reaction? It is a reaction in which heat is released during a reaction. Means, see, what happens is that exothermic reaction is a reaction where the heat is released in order to make a reaction happen. Means heat is released in the universe. Okay. Now, what is endothermic reaction? As you can see, exo. Exo means what? Out. So, out means heat released. Now, see, endo. Endo means what? In. That means heat gained. Now see, it is a reaction in which heat is gained during a reaction. That means it is a reaction in which the heat is gained while two substances are reacting between them. So coming to our next reaction, as I have told earlier that we are going to study the reaction between some elements. So first reaction is reaction between metal carbonate and metal hydrocarbonate reaction with acid. Now what happens when metal carbonate and metal hydrocarbonate reacts with acid? Now see, this is a general formula that what will happen, metal carbonate or metal hydrocarbonate reacts with acid to give us salt, carbon dioxide and water. So let us take an example. That metal carbonate, let us take that calcium carbonate is reacting with acid. Acid is suppose HCl. Now, okay, let me write it. Calcium carbonate plus HCl reacts to give us. Now what happens during this reaction? So see, calcium carbonate. Now both has the valency of 2 plus and 2 minus. Okay. Now these are the compound of hydrogen and chlorine. That means HCl. The power is 1 plus and 1, charge is 1 minus. Okay. Now see what happens during this mechanism. Now how we will find that the reaction between these two give us salt, carbon dioxide and water. So this is the basic rule. Now see, calcium here reacts with chlorine to give us calcium chloride. Now since the charge will be exchanged, so what happens here is the this one charge is put as a subscript in case of calcium, and this charge 2 for calcium goes with the chlorine as a subscript written here under the chlorine. Now this is the part 1. Now I am giving a plus sign. So another one is that what happens is this one. Now see, hydrogen and carbonate just go bonded together. See, HCO3. Now hydrogen is having charge 1. So here it is written as a whole 1, but either you are writing it as a part 1 or you can write it simply CO3. It's just okay. And see, this is a minus 2 charge carbonate is having. So the charge is put as prefix under the hydrogen atom. Now going to the balanced equation now. See, calcium is 1 and this side also we are having calcium as 1. Now chlorine is 2, but in this side we are having chlorine only 1. So we need to balance chlorine at first, but then also let me recheck that what we have to see whether the hydrogen and carbonate also balances this side or not. Now see, hydrogen is 2, but we are having hydrogen here as 1 and carbonate is 1 and carbonate this part is also okay. Now see, what is missing is that chlorine here is having 2 and hydrogen are having 2. Now see, if we just put a simple 2 here, now we will get this side also hydrogen 2 and chlorine 2. So almost these are balanced, but we cannot write the one subscript in this manner. So we need to just remove or extract this from the equation. So the general equation now is written as calcium carbonate plus 2HCl goes to calcium chloride. Now see, I have erased the 1 because 1 calcium or calcium here simply means having the same meaning. Okay. Now see here H2 and calcium carbonate, as I have told you earlier, that writing as a subscript 1 or simply you are writing calcium carbonate is similar. So this is the general equation. This is the latest equation, but still it is not correct because we haven't mentioned the state of the compounds either. So what are the state of calcium carbonate here? Calcium carbonate is in aqueous condition while acid is in liquid condition. Now calcium chloride will be in aqueous condition, and nextly H2CO3. H2CO3 just breaks 2 hydrogen and 1 carbonate. So what does it happen? So if we write it water plus carbon dioxide, what we will get? 2 hydrogen, carbon 1 and oxygen 2 and oxygen 1. So that means this is the breaking form of H2CO3. 3. But we cannot write the state now because we have to write all of them in a separate manner, because our general formula is salt plus carbon dioxide plus water. So again we have to write another step, which is calcium carbonate in aqueous form plus 2HCl in liquid and calcium chloride in aqueous form plus H2O plus CO2, which will be in gas state and water will be in liquid state. So this is the exact reaction that is happening between metal carbonate and acid. Okay. Now our next reaction is reaction between metallic oxide with acids. Now what happens when metallic oxides reacts with acid? So here, with the reaction between metallic oxides and acids, salt and water is formed. So it will be more clear if I am going to explain with you with an example. So let me take an example. Metallic oxide. Let us take calcium oxide plus acid. Acid in general, HCl. So what happens when they react together? So calcium, oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine. Now calcium reacts with chlorine to form. Now see, calcium has 2 plus charge and chlorine has minus 1 charge. So they react to form calcium chloride. Okay. Now nextly what happens is that hydrogen has plus 1 charge, oxygen has minus 2 charge. Now it reacts to form H2O. So this is a very simple mechanism because there is nothing to extra teach you. So what happens here is that now to complete it, we just need to put the state here. Calcium carbonate will be in aqueous condition. Hydrochloric acid will be in liquid condition, calcium chloride again will be in aqueous condition, and H2O will be in liquid condition. Now see, this is just a general thing that calcium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid to give us salt. This is calcium chloride, which is a salt, and H2O, which is definitely a water. So this is okay. Now this is a very interesting reaction, a reaction between base and acids. Now up to now we have learned about the reaction between metal carbonate or metal hydrocarbonate with acids, reaction between metal oxides with acids. Now what happens when we react between base and acids? So with the reaction between base and acids, we get the same product as before, the salt and the water. Now how does it happen? So let us take an example to get more familiar. Now let us take a base, suppose say sodium hydroxide. Okay. Now it will be in obviously in aqueous state. Now acids, common acid which is HCl will be in liquid state. Now what happens after they react? See, sodium hydroxide, hydrogen, chlorine. Now sodium has plus 1 charge and chlorine has minus 1 charge. So they obviously react to form NaCl. Now this is the salt that we required. Again, H has plus 1 charge, hydroxide has minus 1 charge, and these two reacts to form water. So this is an interesting and also easy equation too. So now we will be going to our next equation. Now, so see what happens when acid or base reacts with water. What happens? Generally what happens? So this will be, you can say that there is nothing to understand, just you have to take into your mind that what happens when acid or base reacts with water. So taking an example of acid HCl plus water. it generally forms what? Now see, okay, so one is it can form hydroxide, means OH, or HCl. So what is the factor of reacting between these two when we are getting again HCl? So there is no factor of again reacting in this form because we are getting the same HCl back again. So what is here is that the rule is it is either stayed in H plus or H3O plus ion plus Cl minus. So this is the thing that you have to keep in your mind, that when HCl reacts with water, it releases the hydrogen ion into the water itself, or it can form hydronium ion. See here, H3O is known as hydronium ion. Okay. So what you have to remember is that whenever an acid reacts with water, it either releases hydrogen ion or it forms hydronium ion, liberating the chlorine. Now see, since hydrogen cannot exist alone, but they will exist after combining with water molecules. Since we know that hydrogen ion cannot exist alone because it is a single proton. So it has to be combined with water, so it forms the hydronium ion. Now we will be studying the reaction between a base plus water. What does it gives us? Now taking a base, suppose NaOH, and it reacts with water. NaOH will definitely be in aqueous solution. Now it reacts with water to liberate Na plus OH minus. So this is a very simple equation. As you can see that NaOH reacts with water to liberate the hydrogen oxide, and the metal ion is removed or liberated into the solution. So up to now what we have studied is what is called acid, what are bases, what are indicators, and how many types of equations or reactions are there, determining that whether heat is released or not. And nextly we have learned about various kinds of reactions with acids and bases. So thank you for watching my video, and yeah, thank you.